Hello guys, how are you today? So today I'll be explaining the course question documents for the final of algebra. So of course there's some recommended questions, which are mainly the grid questions, but I don't see any wrong in doing all of them. However, it may take some time. We do have only what? We have section 3.3, section 3.4, section 4.1, and section 4.2, so they're literally nothing. And then we have 6.2 and 6.3. So I think I'm just gonna solve the full thing because there's nothing wrong with doing some extra practice. So let's move on to the first question, which is question number 18. It says what? It says find x and y if 2 minus 6xi is equal to 8y minus 4x plus 3yi, where x and y are real numbers. So my advice, when you come something across this, because we're dealing with imaginary numbers, right? You will separate it into two parts, the real part and the complex or imaginary part, right? So in the real part, you will take the real numbers or the numbers that do not contain I, which in this case are what? 2. Do not forget the equal sign is equal to 8y. That means y is equal to 2 over 8, which is what? Which is 1 over 4, right? So we just found the value of y, which is 1 over 4. Let us find the value of x by now completing the complex part. So the complex part is going to be what? Minus 6xi is equal to minus 4x plus 3yi. You can cancel minus and minus, you can cancel I and I, so you will be left with 6x is equal to 4x plus 3y. We found the value of y. Y is 1 over 4. So very simply it is what? It is 6x is equal to 4x plus 3 times 1 over 4. So move this to the other side, you will get that 2x is equal to 3 over 4. Then divide both sides by 2, you will get that x is equal to 3 over 8. So very simply we finished question number 18. We found the values of what? We found the values of x and y. We'll move on to question number 19. Which of the two complex numbers z equals minus 2 minus I and w7 plus 3i. They want us to find 5z plus 3w. Very simply, how do you find 5z plus 3w? You're just going to substitute. So it's going to be 5 times minus 2 minus I plus 3 times 7 plus 3i. And then you continue solving. So minus 10 minus 5i plus 21 plus 9i. So it will be what? It will be 11 plus 4i. So very simply, that's part A. For part B, it's what? It's 4z, so 4 times minus 2 minus I, minus w, so minus 7 plus 3i, so it will be minus 8 minus 4i, minus 7 minus 3i, so it will be what? It will be minus 15 minus 7i. So that's question number 19 done. We'll move on to question number 20. Solve x squared plus 2x is equal to minus 20. Very simply, what I would do, I would move it to the other side. So x squared plus 2x is equal to what is x squared plus 2x plus 20 is equal to 0. Right, so what you're going to do is you will move it to the other side. So x squared plus 2x plus 20 is equal to 0. And then you could either solve it on the calculator, you can do mode 5-3, okay? So for A you will put 1, for B you will put 2, and for C you will put 20, and you will get your answers, which is what? Which is minus 1 plus or minus radical 19i. This is one way of doing it, or you could do what? If you don't have this option, you can find the discriminant. So discriminant is equal to b squared minus 4ac. So what is b in this case? It is 2. 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 20. Put it on the calculator. You will get an answer of minus 76. And now we know that the equation for the root is what? It is minus b plus or minus radical discriminant over 2a. So it is what? It is minus 2 plus or minus radical minus 76 over 2 times 1. Okay? So minus 76, you can separate it into what? Into 76 and minus 1. And we know that radical minus 1 is what? Radical minus 1 is I. So you can substitute it with I. So very simply, it will be what? It will be minus 2 plus or minus radical 76 I over 2. Now, radical 76, if you put it on the calculator, you will get 2 radical 19. So it will become minus 2 plus or minus 2 radical 19i over 2. You can cancel the 2 and the 2, and you will be left with what? You will be left with minus 1 plus or minus radical 19i. So we ended up the same place. We'll move on to question number 21. What does it say in question number 21? They want us to factor this over the set of complex numbers. So very simply, what I would do in this case is I would first take out the common factor, which in this case is 5. So it would be 5x squared plus 25. As you can see, this will remind you of dots, or difference of two squares. But the only difference is that this does not have a minus. So it's not a difference. It has a plus. So my advice on what to do is to treat it as if it was dots, as if it were a difference of two squares, okay? And you would factorize it as if it were x squared minus 25. What you would get? You would get x minus 5, x plus 5. But now, however, because it's plus and not minus, you will put next to the I or next to the constant number, next to the 5 or next to the constant number, you will put next to it what? You will put next to it an I. And don't forget about the 5 over here. So the final factorized form is 5, x minus 5i, x plus 5i. We move on to question number 22. Factor x squared plus 8x plus 25 over the set of complex numbers. So honestly, there's so many ways to do this, but because they want us to factorize it, I will teach you a trick that you could use if it is on the on the computer part. However, if it is not on the if it's not on the computer part, if it's on the written part, then you will have to explain how you got the answer. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna factorize this using what? Using either the discriminant or what? Or mod 5, 3, right? So you will take this, you will put it on your calculator, you will do mod 5, 3, you will get 1, 8, and 25. I'm gonna let you guys do majority of the solving. So to find the discriminant, it's gonna be b squared minus 4ac, so 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 25, and you will get the discriminant. Then you will do minus 8 plus or minus a radical discriminant over 2a to find what? To find the value of the factors. Or you could do mod 5, 3, right? When you do mod 5, 3, you will get what? You will get that x1 is equal to minus 4 plus 3i, and x2 is equal to what? It's equal to minus 4 minus 3i. Right? Now that we have the root and we want to factorize it, what are we gonna do? Is we're gonna bring these to the other side. So consider this as x, okay? If you bring this to the other side, it's gonna be x plus 4 minus 3i is equal to 0, and then x plus 4 plus 3i is equal to 0. So these are what? These are the two factors. So the two factors of this are what? X plus 4 minus 3i and x plus 4 plus 3i. So this is how to do it if you want quickly on the computer. But of course, if you want to do it in the exam, I think you'll have to do a different method, which is the difference of two squares. So you will take this over here, and you will need to do what? The difference of two squares. So x squared plus 8x plus 25. You will take this number 8 divided by 2, you will get 4. Square 4, you will get 16. So inside of the brackets, you will add 16. Outside of the brackets, you will subtract 16, but you will multiply it by what? By the common digit, which in this case is 1. So 16 times 1. So it will be x squared plus 8x plus 16. Okay, plus 25 minus 16, which is what? Plus 9. Okay, so after factorizing, it's x plus 4 squared plus 9, right? So now you need to factorize this value over here. Okay, so now we have x plus 4 squared plus 9. As you can see, you can take this as the difference of two squares. However, instead of minus, you have a plus. So you will do the same process that we did from before. So you will square this, okay? You will, take the root of this, right? So you will do the difference of two squares. So you will factorize this. It will be x plus 4, okay? Or take the root of this, it's x plus 4, and then the root of this, it's 3. So you will have 1 time x plus 4 plus 3, and then x plus 4 minus 3. However, because we are not doing difference of two, because it is difference of two square, but we have plus instead of minus, you will put what? An I next to it. And very simply, that's it for question number 22. We'll move on to question number 23. When minus 3 plus 2i times 5 minus 9i is expressed in this form, it is equal to this. So very simply, you just need to multiply as if you're multiplying anything. So minus 15. So minus 15 plus 27i, right? Then plus 10i minus 18i squared. So you should know that I squared is what? I squared is minus 1, so you can substitute I squared by minus 1, so it will be what? It will be minus 15 plus 37I minus 18 times minus 1, which is basically what? Which is basically 18, okay? And this is 37I, so you add them together, it will be what? It will be 3 plus 37I. So now we'll move on to 3.4, the sign of a quadratic trinomial. So now we'll move on to section 4, the sign of a quadratic trinomial. Study the sign of this and deduce the solution of this. Okay, so very simply, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna find the roots. So let's find the roots together. You can very simply do them on your calculator, or you can like calculate it mentally. You have two roots, okay? So x squared is equal to 4. If you make this equal to 0, x squared is equal to 4. X is equal to plus or minus 2, right? Draw the table of variation. Let us very simply draw the table of variation. So you will draw the table of variation. It's like this. Here you have the x, here you have the y, okay? So, here you have the first root, which is minus 2, the second root, which is 2. Because they are the roots, they will give you 0 as an answer if you substitute them in the equation. Now, choose a number smaller than minus 2, for example. Let us say minus 3, number in between minus 2 and 2, 1, a number greater than 2, 3. Now substitute them in the equation and see what answer will you get. So minus 3 squared minus 4, okay? Do not forget to put the brackets, very important, it will give you 5, a positive answer. If you did 1 squared minus 4, it will give you a negative answer, minus 3. If you did 3 squared minus 4, it will give you a positive answer. So as you can see, based on the table of variation, we can understand that any number greater than minus 2 or, any number smaller than minus 2 or greater than 2 will give us a positive result, and any number in between minus 2 and 2 will give us a negative result. So they told us to deduce the solution. That means x squared less than or equal to 4, move this to the other side. X squared minus 4 less than or equal to 0. When is it less than or equal to 0? It is equal to 0 if it is one of the roots for sure, but it is less than 0 or negative if it is a digit between minus 2 and 2. So minus 2. So what is the solution? The solution is very simply any value that is equal to, okay, or greater than minus 2, and any value that is equal to or less than 2. They said in number 25, study the sign of 3x squared plus 3x plus 10 and deduce the solution of this. First of all, you're gonna find the roots, okay? You guys should know by now how to find the roots. So in this case, the roots are what? We have two roots. So here we stop for a second. You check the roots, you will see I or complex. Because it is complex, then directly you will know what? That it is positive or equal to 0 for what? For all real numbers. So it's positive or equal to 0 for all real numbers. Now study the sign of 4x squared plus 20x and deduce the solution. So now we will find the roots, okay? You guys should know how to find the root by yourself. So we actually have only one root in this part, which is what? Which is minus 5 over 2. So we will do the table of variation. Okay, so this is x, this is y. We have minus 5 over 2. Choose a number smaller than it, for example, minus 10, and a number greater than it, 10. Okay, and let's do the table of variation. You will substitute minus 10 and 10 in this equation over here. So 4 minus 10 squared plus 20 times minus 10 plus 25, you will get a positive answer. But if you put plus 10 and not minus 10, you will also get what? You will also get a positive answer. So here they said what? They said what is the solution of this, where this is what is greater than 0, where whatever number you put will be a positive digit, greater than 0. So in this case, it is what? It is all real numbers. So I can very simply write this for all real numbers. All real numbers except minus 5 over 2. Why? Because if you substitute minus 5 over 2, you will get 0. We move on to question number 27. It says, study the sign of this and deduce the solution for this. So very simply, what you're going to do is you're going to find the roots again. So you should know how to find the roots by now. So in A it's 16, B it's minus 8, C it's 1. You will get how many roots? You will get only one root, which is what? Which is 1 over 4. So you will do the table of variation for this root, right? So you have x, y, okay? You have 1 over 4. It will give you an answer of 0 if you substitute it. Choose something smaller, for example, 1. something greater, for example, something smaller, for example, -1, something greater, for example, 1. And substitute them where? Substitute them in the original equation. So 16 times -1 squared minus 8 times -1 plus 1 will give us a positive answer. And if you put 1 instead, it will also give you a positive answer. So, very simply, let us see what they want. They want us to deduce the solution. What is the solution? 16x minus 8x is less than -1. Move it to the other side. 16x minus 8x plus 1 is less than 0. So they said, when is it negative? It's never negative, because you see this is positive, this is 0, this is positive, then for sure this is wrong. So it's phi, or no solution, because there is no number that will give you a negative result. Now they told us solve the system of inequalities, okay? So very simply, the first thing you will do is you will find the roots of each pair. This one, you will have to solve it equal to 0. So 2x minus 1 equals to 0, x minus 2 equals to 0. You will have the root x is equal to 2. And x is equal to what? It's equal to 1 over 2. For this one, if you put it on the calculator, what will be your roots? Your roots will be, it will be imaginary. So it basically has no real roots. Now let us satisfy the equation of each. This one, because it is what? It is imaginary, right? We'll take any number, for example 1, substitute it in here and see, is it less than 0 or is it greater than 0? So 2 times 1 squared minus 1 plus 1, you will get a positive answer. So since this is the case, that means all real numbers are supposed to give you what? A positive answer. So in this case, there is no answer or no real number that will give you a number that is negative. So this is an empty set, okay? Whereas for this one, we will need to do what? We will need to do the table of variation. So let's do the table of variation together. So you will take the roots 1 over 2. And 2, you will choose a number less than 1 over 2, for example, -1. A number in between 1 over 2 and 2, for example, 1. And a number greater than 2, for example, 4. Okay, this is x. Now, y? Substitute them in the equation and see, will they give you a positive or a negative answer? So 2 times -1, okay, -1. 2 times -1, wait, 2 times -1, put it in the brackets, okay, -1. All right, you have to put everything in big brackets, so it's supposed to be a bit complicated. So 2 times -1 times what? Times -1 minus 2. You will get 9, which is a positive answer. Okay, now if you put instead of -1, 1, what will you get? You will get a negative answer. And if you put instead of 1, 4, you will get what? You will get a positive answer. So for sure what? For sure, the solution said they want what numbers will give you an answer that is less than 0. It is for sure any digit of x that is greater than 1 over 2, but less than 2. Okay, so this is the answer for question number 28. However, we're not done, okay? We found that this has no solution set, and this has what? This has a solution set of what? Of 1 over 2. It's in between 1 over 2 and 2. So now they want something to satisfy both of these solutions. So definitely nothing satisfies both of the solutions, so you can just put what you can put. Nothing satisfies both of the solutions. Okay, we'll move on to the next question, which is question number 29. They told us to solve this question over here. So they want x times x minus 5 over x minus 1 is greater than 0. So here very simply what they did, they separated the numerator and the denominator alone. So it becomes what? It becomes x times x minus 5 is greater than 0, and then x minus 1 is greater than 0, right? Now, we will need to find the roots. So in this case, this has how many roots? This has, it has 2 roots, which is x is equal to 0 and x is what? X is equal to 5. Why? You make this equal to 0 and you make this equal to 0. And this has only 1 root, which is what? Which is x is equal to 1. Okay, so let's do the table of variation for both of them. This is x, this is y. We have a value over here and a value over here. So for example, 0 and 5, choose a number less than 0, -1. A number in between 0 and 5, 1, and a number greater than 5, 6. Now substitute them in this equation over here. So -1 times -1 minus 5, you will get a positive answer. Substitute 1 instead, you will get a negative answer. And substitute what? 6 instead, you will get what? You will get a positive answer. So they wanted what? They wanted that it is greater than 0. When is it greater than 0? Only if x is less than 0. So if x is less than 0, it will work. Or if x is what? If x is like greater than 5. So if x is greater than 5 or x is less than 0, it will give us a positive answer. Here you will do the table of variation as well. Okay, you have x and y. You have 1 as the root, right? So choose a number less than 1. You can choose 0. Number greater than 1, you can choose 2. Substitute it in this equation. 0 minus 1 is a negative number. 2 minus 1 is a positive number. So it is what? It is only like positive because they want it greater than 0. It is only positive if x is greater than 1. Okay? Okay, so you'll need to remember these 1, 2, and 3. But, however, some of them may not work in both the numerator and denominator. So to make sure that they will work in both numerator and the denominator, we will have to also try for the opposite rule. So instead, it will be x times x minus 5 over x minus 1 is what? Is less than 0. So let us also try to find the roots. So just keep in mind the rules that x is greater than 1, x is greater than 5, x is what? Less than 0. Okay, so now let's solve it but the opposite way. So x times x minus 5 less than 0, x minus 1 less than 0. You will do the table of variation for both of them. Okay, here this one you have what? You have 0 and 5. So choose a number less than 0, for example, minus 1. In between 0 and 5, 1. Greater than 5, 6. Okay, substitute them in the equation. What will you get? You will get positive, negative, positive. So where is the condition in where it is only negative? The solution for where it is only negative is where is in between 0 and 5. So in between 0 and 5, it will be what? It will be a negative value. So this is another possible answer. Now for this one over here, you will do the table of variation. So you have x, y, you have 1. You will choose a number smaller, for example, minus 1, a number bigger, for example, 2. You will get what? You will get a negative answer over here and a positive answer over here. So which one will give me a negative answer? If it is like less than 1. So x has to be what? It has to be less than 1. Now here there is a small catch. As we said before, what works for the numerator may not work for the denominator. So we need to use all of the rules we found to find out what is the best set and what works for the values. So first of all, if x is greater than 1. If x is greater than 1, let's say for example 2. If x is 2, substitute it in this equation. So it will be 2 times 2 minus 5 over 2 minus 1. It will give me a negative answer. So it cannot be 2. If it is, for example, 3, right? It will also give me a negative answer. So basically, look here. Our x cannot be less than 5. First of all, x cannot be what? Less than 5. That means x should be greater than 5. This is for sure a valid condition that will work for both numerator and denominator. But another thing, let's say you were thinking of a number in between 1 and 0, right? Let's say you choose 0.5, for example. If you put 0.5, okay, it will be what? 0.5 times 0.5 minus 5 over what? Over 0.5 minus 1. So you will get what? You will get a positive answer. Why is this? Because 0.5 is what? 0.5 is less than 5 and it is less than 1. So basically, if it is less than 5 and less than 1, it will also work, but as long as it is greater than 0. So the x should be what? It should be greater than 0, but it should be less than 1. So this is the final two answers. We'll move on to question number 30. So here very simply you just need to take the root. So here you make it equal to 0, so you'll get that x is equal to 4 and x is equal to minus 2 over 3. Okay, now you will do the table of variation. You will have two roots, you will have minus 2 over 3 and 4. Choose a number less than this, minus 1. In between 1, a number greater, for example, 7. Okay, this is x, this is y. Substitute it in the main equation. Okay, substitute this in the main equation. So it will be 3 times minus 1 minus 4 times 3 times minus 1 plus 2. Put it on the calculator, you will get here a positive answer. But if you put instead of minus 1, 1, you would get what? You would get a negative answer. If you put instead of 1, 7, you would get what? You would get a positive answer, all right? So this is the table of variation for what? For the first 3 terms, because they're all the same, right? So they said that it is positive for all real numbers x, such that x is what? X is less than minus 2 over 3, and x is greater than 4. This is for sure correct. It's not true for all real numbers x. It's negative in between minus 2 over 3 and 4. And that's the only case where it is negative. Now they wanted positive for all real numbers between minus 2 over 3 and 4. No, this is also incorrect. Now, for this one over here, if you're going to do the same thing, you will find the roots. You will get x is equal to 4 and x is equal to minus 2 over 3. So it's what? It's the same table of variation, but the only difference is that it's minus in the beginning. So you're going to substitute everything, but instead of 3, you will do minus 3 times what? Times minus 1 minus 4 times 3 times minus 1 plus 2. Okay, and you will get a negative answer. So instead of the same signs, they will have different signs now. So it will have a negative answer. Instead of minus 1, if you put 1, you will get a positive answer. And instead of 1, if you put 7, you will get what? 7? Whoops. You will get a negative answer. So you will know that it's positive for all real numbers between minus 2 over 3 and 4. This is correct. It's negative for all real numbers x. No, it's only negative if it's less than minus 2 over 3 and greater than 4. And it's equal to 0, okay? This is equal to 0 only in the case if you substitute the roots, which are minus 2 over 3 and 4. And that's it for section 3.4. We'll move on to chapter 4. We have section 1, 2, and section 3. It will not take anything. But however, to save time, I will just do the recommended questions. So for 4.1, we only have question 6 that is recommended. So what did they say? They said, after performing the first step in the long division below, what number is obtained for the coefficient of x squared in the quotient? So very simply, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply with the 5x squared regularly. So it will be what? 15x to the power of 4 minus 25x cubed. So now you will change both of their signs. So it will go bye-bye, it will become 0. And this will be what? It will be 36x cubed. You will drop everything else, plus 3x squared, plus 5x, plus 4. Now you will take this digit with this digit. So 36 divided by 3. What's 36 divided by 3? It is very simply 12. So just like that, we answered question number 6. We'll move on to question number 10. What is the remainder when px is equal to 4x squared plus 15 is divided by this? Okay, so very simply, you will make this equal to 0. So this equal to 0, you will get that x is 2. Now 2 is what? The divisor. So 4, you will just, it's going to be 2 is the divisor, and then you have 4. Now notice, you need to continue. So x to the power of 4, it will be x to the power of 3, which is 0. Then x to the power of 2, which is also 0. And then x, which is 0. And then we reach to what? We reach to 15. So first thing you will do is you will drop the 4. So 2 times 4 is what? It is 8. 8 plus 0 is what? It is 8. Now, 2 times 8 is what? 2 times 8 is 16. You will put it over here. So 0 plus 16 is 16. Now 2 times 16 is what? 2 times 16 is 32, okay? And then 0 plus 32 is 32. Now finally, it will be what? It will be 2 times 32, which is 64. So then 15 plus 64 will give us an answer of what? Will give us an answer of 79. This is one way of doing it, but instead of doing this long, complicated way, we can do a very simple, easy way. You will make this equal to 0, so x is going to be equal to 2. Substitute it over here. So it will be 4 times 2 to the power of 4 plus 15. So 4 times 2 to the power of 4 plus 15, you will also get the answer, which is what? Which is 79. Now, the next grids we have are 15 and 16. They said, what is the value of m, okay, if this is a factor of this? Okay, look at the keywords. Is a factor of this. If this is a factor, that means the remainder is equal to 0. What does it mean the remainder is equal to 0? That means if you find, you make this equal to 0, you will get x is equal to minus 2. You substitute it in this equation over here, you will get the answer to be equal to what? To be equal to 0. So let's do that. So very simply, substitute instead of x minus 2, it will be minus 2 to the power of 4 minus 2 times minus 2 squared plus 3m times minus 2 plus 64 is equal to 0. Solve everything. So if you add up all of the whole numbers, it's going to be what? 72 minus 6m is equal to 0. Move this to the other side. Minus 6m is equal to minus 72. So m is equal to what? Minus 72 divided by minus 6, which is 12. So very simply, m is 12. We'll move on to question number 16. They said what? One of the roots of this is a whole number. What is the value of the root? Notice how they did not say possible root, they said roots. So how do you know if it is a root or not? Basically, first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the coefficient, which is minus 2. You will take its factors, which is plus or minus 1 and 2. Then you will take the first digit over here, which is 3. You will also take its factors, so you can have plus and minus 1 and 3. First thing they said is that it's a whole number. So directly, if it's a whole number, forget the numerator being less than the denominator. What does this mean? This means you cannot have 1 over 3 or 2 over 3 as an option. Directly, they are cancelled out. What's left is 2 options, which is not 2 options. What's left is 4 options, which is plus 1, because plus 1 over 1, or minus 1 over 1, so you can get minus 1, or plus 2 over 1, which is plus 2, and then minus 2 over 1, which is then minus 2. Now to see which one is a possible answer, or not a possible, which one is the root, you will have to substitute each and every one of them here. So very simply, it's going to be what? It's going to be 3 times, for example, 1 to the power of 4, minus 2 times 1 to the power of 3, minus 4 times 1 to the power of 2, minus 7 times 1, minus 2. You will get what? You will get a negative answer. So for sure, it's not a root. Then if you substitute minus 1, what will you get? Let us see what will happen if we substitute minus 1. Let us see. You will get also a positive number, which is not 0. As we need to find 0, that means this is not a root. What will happen if you substitute 2? If you substitute 2, you will get... 1 second. Right? Okay, so 2. You will get 0. So 2 is what? 2 is a possible root because we will get 0. But if you put minus 2, okay, we will get what? We will get an answer of 60, so definitely it's not a root. That means the value of this root is what? Is plus 2. Now we have 6.2, 6.3. I will see if there's any grids in them. If there's no grids in them, I'm not going to do them. So 6.2, 6.2, where is it? 6.1, 6.2, it has a top question, it has a couple of top questions, and 6.3. There is a grid, okay. So I will do probably the top questions and the grids of 6.1 and 6.2 and 6.3. So we come over here, this is a top question. So I'm probably going to take a break. I will post this and then I will do this.